So, for those of us who have been asking about how you should be consistent on your farm, I want to share this with you. Like personally, how I do mine on the farm each and every day. And like I said in the other videos, I'm not always available on the farm. So, but anytime I go, or this is how we work on the farm every day. So we start by 6. Going to the farm start at 6. So by 6 a.m. we are on the farm. And once you get to the farm, you don't just start with the farm work. What I do is go around the pen. You go around the pen, and going around the pen is very important because you'll be able to actually identify if people came to your farm at that time when you were asleep, or there were some creatures, something like snakes or rodents. They came around when you were not there. So you should be able to inspect around the surroundings and then be sure of that everything is intact before you even enter the farm itself or enter the pen itself. After going around and then finding out and then confirming for yourself that everything is intact, and then how you left the farm was how you came back to meet it the next day, then you are sure to enter the farm. And then with that inspection and everything, it takes like 5 minutes for me, but yours can be different. So you go around, check it. So the next thing I do is, and then I enter the pen. Entering the pen, I don't just start with the usual activities in cleaning and then no. I go around to inspect every room separately every morning. I go around each room, make sure I look to see that all the pegs are intact, because there will be no need for me to start cleaning somewhere when there's a particular peg suffering another place that I could have saved it at that point. So I make sure all the pegs are safe before I start to do any other thing. So after inspecting the outside, and then I go inside also to inspect to see all the pegs before I start to clean them. With the cleaning, if I have new stock on my farm, I always work in those pen last, because they are just brought in from another farm, which if you have quarantined them, going to work there first before entering the other rooms mean you contaminate the other pigs, and then if there's a disease with that particular pig, you end up infecting the other pigs on the farm. So I make sure I always work on a new breed last, or new stock I have, I work on that particular room last. With every day, that's how I do until it is safe, and then I can mix it with what I have on the farm already. So having clean and then clean up the rooms, the next thing I do is I manually give them the water. And with the water, it should take you somewhere less than 20 minutes to feed, to give water to all of them. And then the pen is open. I don't have the feed on the farm. What I do is I keep all the feed, whatever I used to formulate the feed for them is in the mill. So I go to the mill, but before I go to the mill, I leave the pigs there. After they have fed, they have drank the water, I leave them in the farm with the rising sun entering the pen to at least warm the pigs whilst they are there waiting for their feed. So I go to the mill to formulate the feed, bring it back in less than 45 minutes, bring it back to the farm. But then the pigs they have already been heated up by the rising sun. And then I start to feed them. And with the feeding, I do it by prioritizing the pigs on the farm. So lactating sows, that's those with piglets, they are fed first. And or if they are piglets, I feed the piglets first. You get it? Yeah. So if they are maybe piglets, I just wean them. I feed them first. Else the lactating sows are always fed first, followed by the pregnant ones, and then the weaners. I feed the weaners next, and then growers, fatness, and then finally the bulk gets last. Okay. So if you're going to feed also, you should ensure that you feed them in that particular order, so that in such that you don't delay the feed of one. Well, piglet, if you don't and they keep making that particular noise, it is stressing them out. So you should make sure they have theirs first. Then you move on to the pregnant mothers. And then in that order, everything will be okay for them. So after feeding them, I don't have the nipples like I say. So what I do next is in 2 hours time, yes, I come back to supply the water manually to them. And then I go back. And then when it is around 12 or 2, that's why I come back again. And then with that, what I come to do is if there are some grass I will have to give to them, or some fruits I took from the farm and I need to give it to them, that's why I come back to do that. And like I said in the old videos, I feed all the pigs like twice a day, except if they are winners that I used to feed them 3. So for the 2 o'clock, 12 to 2 o'clock time, that one I used to give them the grass or the fruit, and I return back. By 4, I'll come back to the pen to clean the whole place well again, and then I give the water plus feed. And after I supply the feed, I should have come back to feed them in 2 hours time, but it depends on how my day went. If I was really busy or I was tired, in that case, I'm not able to return to give them the water by 6:30 or 7. So in that case, they are to sleep without water for that particular time, except if they are piglets, where I leave the water with them, or if they are mothers with a nursing piglet, I give water to that particular. But if they are all dried and then none of them is actually underage or cannot survive without water, then I make sure I leave them there and then come back the next morning. So the next morning, that's why I always give them water first thing before anything on the farm. I give them the water so that they don't stress. They always need water. If you should allow them, they will drink continuously on the farm, which is very good. But if you don't want to stress yourself, you can install the nipples. And for instance, if I had installed the nipples, it means that I will only have to come to the farm twice, which is morning after feeding them, go back, evening and coming to feed them. But the water, I will not be working with the water. You get it? But because I don't have the nipples, I have to come back and do all this manually to ensure that they are all in good state before I move on to the next stage. So basically, this is what you can do. And then pig farming is just based on consistency and principles. You should let the pigs know the exact time their feed will be ready. So you don't have to confuse them with the feeding time. If you used to feed them by 7:30 every day, 7:30 should be known to them and they should start or they should get their feed by 7:30. Don't take it to 8 or 9. No, in that case, you have been irregular here, and people will get to know that you even have pigs on your farm. But if you allow them to get used to the time you feed them every day, they always stay calm until you come back to give them the feed at that particular time. So don't always change how or switch between how you feed the pigs. Let it be consistent. Let them know exact time they get the feed, exact time they will water for them if you don't have the nipples, and do something like that. And if you do that, what it also helps you with is if somebody like mistakenly somebody goes to your farm in your absence, and maybe you are lucky enough you're a bit closer to the farm, you get to know that somebody has entered. When the pigs start making noise at the time you don't expect them to make, you'll be able to know that somebody has gone close to your pen, and with that you can go back to check and ensure that your farm is very safe. So you should be consistent on your farm, and then as they say, pig farming is not anything tedious and it's not difficult thing. What you need to do is just obey its principle only. So if you know at this time you're supposed to do this, do it at the right time. Don't let the time go beyond before you come to do it. Be consistent on the farm, and you always have clean and then healthy farm forever. So this is what I wanted to share with you as to how your activities in a daily basis should be on the farm if you don't have the nipples installed.